Spartan Media Network. Welcome to the Spartan Media Network from Playfly Sports.
Spartans recovered on the break. A slam dunk by Booker. Allman drives the basket. Bank shot away. Good. And I think he's going to get a free throw to boot. Booker for three. He got it. How about that?
It's time for the Auto Owners Insurance presentation of the Tom Izzo Show. Tonight's show is sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense. The Tom Izzo Show is also brought to you by Meijer, the official grocer of Michigan State Athletics. Labatt. Crack some Labatt and see where it takes you. SeatGeek, the official ticket marketplace of MSU Athletics. One North Kitchen and Bar, making good times great. Team Trailways, the official ground transportation provider of Spartan Athletics. Make Team Trailways your favorite ride. Coors Light, mountain cold refreshment. Choose chill. And by McLaren, official orthopedics and sports medicine partner of Michigan State Athletics. Now with Michigan State head basketball coach Tom Izzo, here's the voice of Spartan basketball, Will Tieman.
And a pleasant good evening to everybody around the great state of Michigan and to our audience here at One North. Well, the numbers are not too bad. We're 7th in the nation. We've won 13 straight. We won all of our home games, 11-0. 9-0 in the Big Ten. That's a 2-game lead over the field in the loss column, and overall 18-2. And every time we visit, these numbers keep getting better. I know Tom's going to say stop it, but it's pretty good.
Stop it. Yeah. Yeah, no, the numbers are great. If the season, we wanted it to end right now, I'm fine with it. It's good for me. But unfortunately, we're about to take that trip out west, and so things will get a little tougher. When we come home, we're really going to need you because we'll still be sleeping probably. And but it's been an interesting, another great weekend. What our women did and what happened with us, and and hockey just keeps on trucking. So it's kind of a good time to be a Spartan.
Well, one of the things that I go along with that one. Yeah. One of the things I thought, Tom, was pretty impressive is most people know by now, our trip home from New York wasn't as good as the game we played at the Garden. And I remember asking Tom before we did our pregame interview how many working hours he lost getting ready for a Tuesday game. And he said at least 8. Now think about that. Everybody loses a work day basically because an airplane can't take off on time. And yet, despite all that, great defense again and another win.
I think that was one of the most impressive things about last night's game. We were not great offensively, but I was worried about our energy level. We got in at 3, 4 in the morning, as you say. We tried to practice that day. We let them sleep in a while, and coaches were in early, and we had I think a 2 o'clock film session, 3 o'clock practice, and then we practiced Monday. And you could just see the guys were a little tired, and then you got to figure out, what do you do? Do you push them harder? Are they mentally tired? Are they physically tired? And so we talked a lot. I talked to them a lot about what these games mean and how, the famous words of most 20-year-olds are "my bad." That's what my bad, coach, my bad. And I say, when you're trying to play for a championship, there's just no room for my bads. It's understandable. You can have them, but you probably can't have them and accomplish what you want to accomplish. And the way we came out of the gate defensively, which usually shows your energy level and your competitiveness and all that, was impressive. I mean, I thought it was one of the best defensive halves in many, 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 many years at Breslin Arena. Now, the offense had something to, we turned the ball over 5 times in the first 5 minutes. We turned the ball over 3 times in the first 3 minutes of the second half, and we had 9 total turnovers. So that means, a couple of stretches were bad. I thought we had some great shots that we didn't make, and then Trey got hot. But some impressive stats, Trey and Jeremy had 14 assists and 1 turnover between them. And, again, we shot pretty well from the free throw line. We rebounded exceptionally well. I
Yep.
think it was 40-22, and so we won a game, and a game that I thought was going to be a struggle. They were really playing well. They had won 3 games, 2 against ranked teams, and so I was pleased and impressed with my own guys and how they came out and how they handled a little adversity. Because we talk about that a lot. Be different. Don't be like everybody else. Don't give in to this stuff. And they didn't.
It's interesting. Over your career, you've had a lot of fun making jokes about some of your great players who you were going to find somebody on campus you might be able to guard. This
Yeah,
group,
Morris Peterson is still trying to find that guy.
it's but this group has bought into the defense. How do you do that?
You know, I don't know if I did it. I think they've done it. I mean, they've realized old school because, that hurts you in recruiting, by the way. And but the truth of it is, we're not old school. We're scoring 83 points a game. What the hell's old school about that?
Nothing.
But it's yeah. What's old school is, I think all of you are involved in old school. I think the people in this community and this campus enjoy our players because they're like one of you. I think there's been a incredible camaraderie, not just with our team, but I think with our fans, because I think they appreciate, there's no prima donnas, no entitled people. I think they give you a lot each night, some better than others. And I think you can see the warmth in themselves out there. And I don't think that's old school. I think that's right school. I think that's the way it should be. And they've done a hell of a job. And they deserve the credit, and they've taken me along for the ride.
Well, Tom, how do you keep them grounded when everybody's telling them how great
I yell
they
at
are?
them. I yell at them all the time. I mean, just ask anybody. They think it's like 20 years ago. I said, if I did that now, players would walk out. They'd be picket lines. Lawyers would be suing me. It's a hell of a day at work, But I talk to them a lot. I talk to them about what their goals are. I talk to them about making them the best version of them they can be and making us the best version of us we can be. And I mean, those talks are daily because there's so many people out there telling them so many other things that we spend, unfortunately, too much time on that stuff, not enough time on basketball. But I think it relates to basketball. It's just, I didn't get into this to be a psychologist. I get into it to be a coach. Now I think I don't know. I'm more that than this.
Well, we have a lot coming up. We have the new Big Ten in front of us, a trip to Los Angeles for 5-6 days, couple of road games there, new territory for most of us. We'll talk about that in just a minute. And we are live at One North Kitchen and Bar in East Lansing. If you want to join our audience for any of our MSU Coaches Shows, make a reservation by emailing coachesshows@onenorthdining.com. We'll be back with more of the Auto Owners Insurance Tom Izzo Show after this on the Spartan Media Network.
Hey, Dad. Did you get a new haircut or something? A new shirt? You're looking good.
What happened?
A little fender bender?
How little?
A few days in the shop little? But thanks to Mom and our agent, we've already submitted a claim and can track the status right from the app. Auto owners pays what they owe without any hassle.
Sounds like simple human sense.
I'm fine, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna ask.
Ask your independent agent if auto owners make sense for you.
When you're a foster parent, you play a lot of roles.
Provider, giving a foster child a safe home, healthy meals, and hope.
You're always there.
You're a cheerleader. Your family. You would do anything for a child in your care.
Every day is different. Every need is different. But one of the most impactful roles you can play in life is being a foster parent. See why at michigan.gov/hope for a home. A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
Skill is a game changer. And when the doctors you know and trust team up with one of the nation's top health systems, the possibilities are endless. Sparrow is now University of Michigan Health Sparrow. So together, we can bring more specialized expertise, more of the latest treatments, and more of the best possible care closer to you. Discover what's possible at uofmhealthsparrow.org.
Hey Spartans, when it's game time, it's One North time. Just minutes from Michigan State University, One North Kitchen and Bar is your go-to spot for scratch cooking and world-class hospitality. When you're celebrating a win or catching up with friends, we've got the perfect dish to make every moment special. Join us for the MSU Coaches Shows and get closer to the action with the voices that bring Spartan spirit to life. Visit One North, where Spartan pride meets memorable meals.
And welcome back. We're live in Lansing for the Tom Izzo Show, as always presented by Auto Owners Insurance. And don't forget, a presenting sponsor, Michigan State Basketball, is Rocket Mortgage, official mortgage provider of Michigan State Athletics. And by the way, if you want to call in and ask Coach a question, our number is 877-535-1678. That's 877-535-1678. And also, we have a microphone right here for anybody in the audience who wants to ask a question. And I think we have our first question.
Hey, Tom.
What's up, man?
Not really a question. And I think I speak for 99% of the people in this room. 28 years ago, you were at this radio show, and some knucklehead called in and said to you, "I'm not sure if you're cut out to be this coach."
That was my wife.
We both crawled out of the building into our cars, and you were shaking your head, and you were convinced that you were the guy to turn this thing around and keep it upright. And you were, and you are. And since then, you have represented Michigan State University so well. You are the face of this place. And I know you're never going to go 0-30, but in my book, you got that benefit because number one, you are the man, and you are the face of this institution. And yes, we want to win games, but that's not the only thing. And I thank you.
Well, thank you.
Thanks, Gary.
Are you ready? Are you ready for this? Gary was my RA at Northern Michigan University many years ago, and is still older. Yeah, but you know what? I say this all the time. If I speak corporately or somewhere else, things start at the top, and you need everybody on the same page to have success. You know, the first thing, Ben Johnson, the coach at Minnesota, is really a good guy. I recruited him a little bit out of high school, and he worked for one of my former guys at one time, and great guy. And he's gone through some tough times. They do not have the financial resources there in a lot of ways, and he's keep fighting what he's done with that team. mean, they're a lot better than they were when we played them in December. And so I've been kind of a mentor to him, I guess. And the first thing he said to me after the game were probably the two things that make me feel the proudest. He said, "You were the tougher team, and this crowd is unbelievable." Can you imagine that? That's what he said to me. "You were the tougher team, and this crowd is unbelievable." And I think there's so many things we take for granted here, and from the top on down, from our marketing people who do such a good job. I mean, I can't tell you how many coaches I have that talk to me about honoring our military people before the game. I mean, that is a big deal. We've had 2 or 3 now that are 99 and 100 years old, and it's been amazing to watch that. I mean, we haven't missed a beat, and that's not me, Gary. That's not me. That's all the people that do their job, and it's been fun to be along for the ride and be part of, hopefully, bringing some good times, because there were some good times, and anytime Cohen dunks is a good time. Okay, but I think for him to say that speaks volumes for all of you, and I mean that as well as I can. And he wasn't just talking about at Minnesota; he was talking about all around the league.
Yep. Well, we haven't talked about this, and I'm sure most of you have heard our post-game shows, win or lose. When we win the game, Tom does a great job of passing around the praise. Assistant coaches, good play, attention to detail by the players. When we have a tough day, he has no problem saying, "It's on me, I got to do better," which is a unique situation, because we don't hear that from a lot of coaches. And the one thing he has not talked much about this year is it's his 30th season. And what he's really not talked much about, the fact that he's 2 wins away from being the winningest coach in the history of the Big Ten in the conference games. And Tom, I know you don't want to talk much about it, but it's kind of sitting right there. What are you thinking?
Yeah, it is sitting right there, but there's some obstacles in the way is one thing. But I was just talking to Randy about my first Big Ten game was against Bob Knight, and I'll never forget it because it was at home, and we came out, and I walked out into the arena like 25 minutes before the game starts, and there were like 4,000 red sweaters. You remember when Bob wore those wet red sweaters, those hideous red sweaters. And I remember going back in the locker room, and my AD, Mark Hollis, was there, and I am screaming at him in the tunnel. And he vowed that it'll never be that way again. And it wasn't long after it wasn't. And sure enough, we got our first win, and they were good, and we weren't that good. And now, we're going to UCLA, and USC and UCLA, and it reminds me of the first time I met. So that was Bob Knight, and of course the legendary coach at UCLA,
John Wooden,
is John Wooden, and I went out there for the Wooden Awards, and I took Mateen Cleaves and Morris Peterson, and I got a chance to meet John. And it was the first time I was going to meet him, and he was probably 88 or something then. And he had all his players, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, everybody's there, black tie event, 1,500 people. And I was standing in line, and I was so nervous. I had my 2 guys with me, and I go up, and I was about this, I shake his hand, and he says, "Well, Coach Izzo, how are you?" I looked at my 2 guys. I said, "He knows my name." I was like tickled to death. And he said, "Congratulations. I was at the Final Four. Congratulations winning the national championship." And I said, "God, thanks." I introduced him to my 2 guys. He says, "I'll see you in there." As I'm walking away, he said, "Welcome to the fraternity of 40. I turned around, I looked at him, and I said to myself, "Man, guy's getting senile or something. What the hell is he talking about?" So Bill Walton was there, and I said, "Bill, come on down here where the air is thicker." I said, he's a 7-footer, and I said, "What is the fraternity fraternity of 40. And I was 6'6" and then 6'8", and pretty soon I was looking Bill eye to eye. I'm telling my players, hey, I'm one of the 40 that are, only 40 guys have won one and this and that. I was feeling so good about myself. I said, man, thanks, Bill. I appreciate it. I started walking away. He says, by the way, Tom, John has won 10 of them. So I left there 3'2", and I really never really recovered. But I guess that's the best part is, I'm a big Bob Knight fan. I really am. I mean, everybody's got their positives and negatives, but he did a lot for the game. He did a lot for players. He did a lot of things that nobody knows. And him and Judd were really close. And I'll tell you do I have time for one other quick story?
Yeah.
So in 2000, when we won the national championship, with 3 games left, we played Indiana down there. And we were ranked, I think, 3rd, and I think they were ranked 7th in the country. And so the game starts, and we played really well, and we were up like 15 at Indiana. Now, most of you know that's illegal, So the game goes back and forth, and they cut it to about 8 and called timeout. About 3 minutes left, and we went on to win, and that tied us for the Big Ten championship with 2 games left. So I said, last time out, I said, there's no celebrating here. We're not going to we'll go into the locker room and celebrate. So I go in the locker room, and we're celebrating. And there's a knock on my door. And it was Quinn Buckner's son, who was a manager for Bob then. And he said, Coach Knight would like to see you in the war room. And everybody told me, he'll like you till you beat him, and then he won't like you anymore. So I had to walk all the way around this, and I walked into their locker room, and there was this film room on the far end. So I knock on the door, scared to death, to be very honest with you. And he opens the door, and Bob's a big guy, he's 6'5", big guy. He says, come in here, sit down. So I go in there and sit down. He says, when there was 3 or 4 minutes left to go, and you called timeout, and he had a player he didn't like. I won't say his name, but he had a player he didn't like. He said, did you send Morris Peterson right after him and pound it into him and score? I didn't know how to answer it because he looked mad, and I didn't know if to say yes or no. And I said, well, yeah, we did post him up. That's kind of why. He says, I knew it. And he started saying a bunch of things that I can't say here. And then he says, come up here. He brings me up to the chalkboard. Then it was a chalkboard, not a grease board. And he writes 5 things down on there. One of them was, don't let your players listen to the media. One was, make sure you keep the families and parents and everybody else away from them. And he wrote all these things down. And I said, what's that? He says, you're good enough to win the national championship. Make sure these 5 things don't happen, and you'll have a real shot. And we went on to win the national championship, and I always sort of gave him credit for that. So that's what would make, if this could happen, that's what would make it even more special for me.
Wow. How about that? I've never heard that story before.
I was afraid to tell it while he was still alive.
Okay. Well, this week's Alumni Hall Spartan basketball trivia ticket giveaway winner gets tickets to an MSU home game. And you can pick up your tickets at the Alumni Hall retail location at Eastwood Town Center in Lansing. So here's our question this week. Last time we played against USC was in the round of 64 in the NCAA tournament in 2023, where the Spartans beat the Trojans 72-62. The question is, who was the leading scorer and rebounder for us in that game? One guy was the top scorer. You can't guess yet. I have to throw a commercial. Anyway, so who was our top scorer and who was our top rebounder last time we played the Trojans and beat them in the tournament in 2023? And we will be back, I think, with our answer in just a moment, as we'll have more as you're listening to the Auto Owners Insurance Tom Izzo Show.
Join me as I take a deep dive into the least insulted ticketing app in history, SeatGeek. Did SeatGeek invent the ticket?
No, but we do make them work.
Drum roll, please. Ooh, how do I use the Seat View feature?
It shows seats with a pole blocking the view. Don't buy those.
What if I want to sit behind a pole?
Buy those.
Join me as I bore you to death with a series of interviews about a ticketing app that just does what it's supposed to do.
.org. Sometimes we're asked if you need to be a Spartan to be a member of Michigan State University Federal Credit Union. The answer is no. To be an MSU FCU member, you just need 3 things. 1, you love saving money and earning cash back. 2, you have a passion for supporting your community, just like we do. 3, when it comes to your future, you prefer to dream big. If this sounds like you, visit msufcu.org to get started. Of course, if you want to cheer on MSU, we're totally on board with that too. Go green.
At first, credit card debt can seem harmless, like a cute little baby goat. Dad! But let it get out of control, and your debt goes wild, and that is anything but cute. Tame your debt with Rocket Mortgage. Tap into your home's equity and get funds in a matter of days. Just visit tameyourdebt.com. Call 1-800-407-3944 for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states, NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030.
Libman makes a difference. The Libman Mop Crew is part of our winning team. The Libman Mop Crew makes sure the hardwood is clean and safe for the players every game at the Breslin Center. No matter what kind of flooring you have at your home court, Libman has the tools to keep it clean. Our mops, brooms, and brushes are proudly family made in the USA. Visit Libman.com to see our whole lineup and 4-store locator. That's Libman.com. Libman, official hardwood floor care provider of the Michigan State Spartans.
And we're back on the Tom Izzo Show, presented by Auto Owners Insurance. Our show today also comes to you live from One North Kitchen and Bar, located on Avon, Saginaw, and East Lansing. One North Kitchen and Bar, making good times great. Well, the Alumni Hall trivia question is a simple one. Last time we played, Southern Cal was in the 2023 NCAA tournament. First round game, beat them 72-62. The question is, what player for the green and white led us in scoring and rebounding in that game? So who thinks they might have an answer?
Hi, Will. It's Mike from East Lansing. The answer is Joey Hauser. I was at that game. It was in Columbus. I had my window knocked out in my car because my friend who was here with us today left his bag in the car, and somebody wanted to steal the bag, I guess. But yeah, really fun game.
Well, you're right, by the way. Joey Hauser was the guy. I mean, as soon as I saw him run, I probably went, I don't even know why we're going through this. He's got this one. But Joey had a great game, 17 points. He had 8 rebounds. And one of the neat things I think we all would agree with Joey's last year, you know, he went through the COVID. He got acclimated. But that last year seemed like a lot of fun for him, and he played great.
Yeah, he really played well there. And then the next game was Marquette, the school he had gone to, and played real well there. And then we got, you know, that overtime game to Kansas State. But, yeah, that was a good run, and that was fun down in Columbus. We had a lot of Michigan State people there. It was great.
So a good day for Joey Hauser and a good day for Michigan State. We'll be back with more of the Tom Izzo Show in just a moment. But first, a break right here on the Spartan Media Network.
So, got one for you, boss.
Oh, yeah?
What's black, white, and dented all over?
I give up.
The company truck. I know, but thanks to our agent, we've already submitted an insurance claim and can track the status right from the app. Auto Owners pays what they owe without any hassle.
Lucky for you, that's simple human sense.
Ask your independent agent if Auto Owners makes sense for you.
Hey Spartan fans, the 2024 basketball season is tipping off, and SeatGeek is here to help you experience all the action. SeatGeek makes it easy to find tickets so you can be a part of all the courtside celebrations this season. Whether you're buying or selling tickets to MSU basketball games or to any other live event in the state, SeatGeek is the place to do it. SeatGeek is the official ticket marketplace of the Spartans. The most disruptive idea in ticketing, a ticket that works. Expect the expected. SeatGeek.
From the biggest of big games to the littlest of the little.
There you go. Go! Run, James! No. First base! Go!
Whenever you shop Meijer, you help support hundreds of local sports teams across the Midwest. From some of the biggest stadiums in the state to the familiar fields down the street, you're helping make a difference to the people and places you call home. Learn more at Meijer.com/community.
Hey, got one more, Labatt?
Yeah, here you go.
Yo! Got one more?
Sure. Who are you?
Have any more?
I'll take one.
Got another Labatt?
Got one more? How did you all get in my house?
Dude, door was open. Heard you had some Labatt.
Yeah, in the fridge.
Crack some Labatt, make some friends, and see where it takes you.
Always enjoy responsibly. Beer, Labatt USA, Buffalo, New York. All rights reserved. Labatt registered U.S. trademark of Labatt Brewing Company Limited.
And welcome back to the Auto Owners Insurance Coach Tom Izzo Show as we're getting ready for our California swing. On Saturday, we got Southern Cal, and then on Tuesday, we have UCLA. You don't forget, Big B Coffee is a proud sponsor of Michigan State basketball. Visit your Mid-Michigan Big B Coffee location today. Well, every time we make a three, and it was, for those of you listening in where I was at the game, how much fun was Trey Holloman making 3 straight threes? I mean, he made one that was good. 2 was kind of nice. The third one was crazy. It was just so much fun. So every time we make a three, or Robin Freelich's women's team make a three, the Boot Law Firm donates $25 to the Greater Lansing Food Bank. So here's our totals right now. The men have made 112, women 147. That's $259 times $25. We're blowing past 6,000 right now. We're at 6,475. And we'll probably be around 7 next show we have. It's pretty good, isn't it?
Do you realize that you do the radio for men's basketball? And I would think that if you're trying to help me out, you'd say we have a combined total of. Do you have to embarrass me? Is that what you're trying to do? Or what do we?
Okay, I've made 2 notes here. No old school. That's 1. And number 2, combined threes. Got it. I can do this. I
think they agree with me.
I'm in.
I'm just kidding. I love the fact that, our women are, they're 17-3, I think. And, unbelievable game against Michigan. It was like a 4-point game at halftime. And then they only won by 30-some. I was disappointed.
What a half they had. Well, when we come back with more of our show here with Tom, I took a moment to write down all the guys that were head coaches when he had his first year 30 seasons ago. And I thought maybe I'd throw a couple names at him and see what comes to mind. And don't forget, whenever you shop Meijer, you shop for the entire community. You help support food rescue programs and the Simply Give program. Learn more at Meijer.com. We'll return for more of the Tom Izzo Show presented by Auto Owners Insurance after this, as you are on the Spartan Media Network.
Hey, Dad. Did you get a new haircut or something? A new shirt? You're looking good.
What happened?
A little fender bender?
How little?
A few days in the shop little, but thanks to Mom and our agent, we've already submitted a claim and can track the status right from the app. Auto Owners pays what they owe without any hassle.
Sounds like simple human sense.
I'm fine, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I was going to ask.
Ask your independent agent if Auto Owners makes sense for you.
Skill is a game changer. And when the doctors you know and trust team up with one of the nation's top health systems, the possibilities are endless. Sparrow is now University of Michigan Health Sparrow. So together, we can bring more specialized expertise, more of the latest treatments, and more of the best possible care closer to you. Discover what's possible at uofmhealthsparrow.org.
From our farm fields to the football field, Michigan soybeans touch every life, every day. From the food we eat to the products we use and the cars we drive, soybeans are making an impact. The Michigan Soybean Committee is dedicated to helping our farmers grow the soybeans needed for a more sustainable future while working at the forefront of innovation to develop new uses. To learn more about the Michigan Soybean Committee's initiatives, please visit us at michigansoybean.org.
Our lives are a collection of experiences, from fender benders and soggy basements to great joy and growing families. Sometimes life is unplanned. Knowing that your insurance provider is always close by offers comfort. At Farm Bureau Insurance, the experience you get with our local trusted advisors is different. From financial security to a helping hand, Farm Bureau understands the experience matters. Find an agent who can protect what matters to you.
And we're back live with the Tom Izzo Show, presented by Auto Owners Insurance. Raise hope and foster dreams by starting your journey to becoming a foster parent today. Visit michigan.gov/hope for a home to learn more on how you can support children of all ages in your community. Well, Tom, we got a question.
It's Jill.
Really a question, just a comment. We've heard a lot of kudos from Gary and others about all that, but what I learned today watching Big Ten today, as I do most days, from Andy Katz, and that is how difficult it has been for you to get 352 wins compared to Bobby Knight because of all the changes that you've been through. Neil, the portal, everything. So I just thought, I've been waiting for the Big Ten to give us a little kudos. And finally today, they did 15 minutes on Big Ten today.
I
so
love it.
Congrats. And
Well,
it's
thanks,
not,
Jill.
but I didn't realize that. And I don't know how many other people haven't either, but that's what he said. It was much more difficult for you to get to this point, and that probably would not happen again. So congrats.
Well, thanks.
Well, it's been hard. I mean, it's interesting. We always look at percentages and who does what, but think about this. You can have a career where you win over 70% of your games just by scheduling the right games in the non-conference, and figure you do 50-50 or so in the league. Well, it's amazing. And Tom has been able to win a lot of games, over 70%, and he's not been playing Okemos High School. I mean, it's unbelievable, the lineup of people we have played. Some we've beaten, some we have not. But at the end of the day, it's made us better as we go down the journey. And so I've always been shocked at times when you put your schedule together. I'm going, does he realize how hard this is? And of course he does. But it's been pretty amazing. One year we played like 6 games in a row, and we never told you this, but we kind of nicknamed it the Izzo Death Row. I mean, it was a death march. Everybody we played was one of the best in the country, and we didn't do too bad. And so people wonder why when we play somebody, we kind of know what to do a little bit. Well, we kind of played everybody you can imagine, and I think that helps. And you got a compliment from a former coach buddy of mine. I won't bring up his name. I'm getting ready to play a major opponent, and he said, "Here's why you guys are going to win this game." And I said, "Well, I'm ready. Why?" He said, "You'll be more prepared. You'll be more prepared. You'll be better coach, and you'll be tougher." Well, we've talked about the toughness thing, but it's amazing. I don't think it's an accident. Whenever we play a team and they have a star, and every team we play has a star, they don't have their best game. Now, they may hit their averages, but they hit their averages when the game's kind of over. They're scoring when the game has been decided. And I don't think that's an accident, Tom. Well, you got a little magic wand going there.
No, that's good players, good staff, and I'm not giving them credit for no reason, but that's what they do. That's what they get paid to do. The scouting has been good, but You got to have, at the end of the day, players play the game, and that's kind of the way it is. Now I would say there's more work getting players to play the game than there was 10, 20, and 30 years ago. But the rewards are the same. When you see guys have great games or improve, when you see a Cohen car making free throw after free throw, that's as rewarding as anything. When I get to the arena and I see the corners full, that's rewarding for me. I'm a weirdo. There's a lot of rewarding things besides the win. And so I'm appreciative of our fans. I'm appreciative of our players, and too much flour now. And now we got to go. I mean, you've probably heard our schedule's been backloaded. So is, I think, Purdue, Indiana. Sometimes they pick the teams. TV gets the pick in the month of February more, I guess. And, with football now going on in January and pro football and now college football, it's, they want the big games later. And so I think 10 of our last 11 are all against teams that are really good. So it's going to be a lot of work yet, but could be a lot of fun too. Question?
Talking about scouting and getting your team ready to play the next opponent. If you had to do a game prep for this particular Spartan team right now, how would you do it?
That's the beauty of what we've got. I've said we've had 8 different scores. We've had 10 guys that score just about every game. Our bench is scoring better than our starters. It's a backwards team. I don't think that's old school. I think that's screwed up, but it's a good screwed up. And, I often say, like the other night we said, okay, they're going to Garcia time after time. These are their 3 favorite plays to Garcia. Boom, 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 boom. I don't know if they can do that against us.
You're screwed if you're playing us.
Well, they'll have a hard time figuring that part out, because I have a hard time sometimes. But it's really been good as far as the sharing of the ball. Another night last night, I think we had 25 out of 30 baskets or 20 assists. And that means the ball's moving, and that's one area that I think we need to still get better at, if you want the truth.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot. Well, I'm going to throw a name at you. One of the guys that was a head coach when you first got involved, and you talk about him a lot. When I mentioned Clem Haskins, the then head coach of Minnesota, what do you think about him, and how was he helpful to you?
I think Clem's one of the guys. Gene Cady. Clem worked for Gene Cady at Western Kentucky, I think.
Yep.
And those two were the toughest. I mean, Gene was, every time we go down there, Judd would shake the Boilermaker's hand and he'd say, "Is this Gene's brother?" Because he was big, tough, strong looking guy. And when we started playing Minnesota, I mean, they were fist fights. I mean, that's when you're allowed to do something besides look at a guy and get a foul, And so I always told Clem that he helped prepare me for the physical nature of it. And, Clem was, I loved Clem. He was a great guy. And he has a farm. He still has a farm in Kentucky. And he has 2 ostriches. And one is named Judd and one is named Gene. Yeah, true story. That's another true story. I got a lot of true stories that you probably think I'm crazy. But to coach, you got to be crazy. So only Gene could, he could do that. And, a couple of years ago, he came back here, the Pistons. His son, who unfortunately has passed away, worked for the Pistons, and they had an exhibition game here. And Clem came, and I spent some time with him. Love him. He's still doing okay and living in Kentucky.
There you go. Hey, Auto Owners Insurance, simple human sense. Ask your independent agent if auto owners make sense for you. We're going to take a quick break as you're listening to the Auto Owners Insurance Coach Tom Izzo Show.
Join me as I take a deep dive into the least insulted ticketing app in history, SeatGeek. Did SeatGeek invent the ticket? No, but we do make them work. Drum roll, please. Ooh, how do I use the Seat View feature?
It shows seats with a pole blocking the view. Don't buy those.
What if I want to sit behind a pole?
Buy those.
Join me as I bore you to death with a series of interviews about a ticketing app that just does what it's supposed to do.
Pay your expense.
From the biggest of big games to the littlest of the little.
There you go. Go! Run, James! No, first base! Go, go, go!
Whenever you shop Meijer, you help support hundreds of local sports teams across the Midwest. From some of the biggest stadiums in the state to the familiar fields down the street. You're helping make a difference to the people and places you call home. Learn more at Meijer.com/community.
When you're a foster parent, you play a lot of roles.
Provider, giving a foster child a safe home, healthy meals, and hope.
You're always there.
You're a cheerleader. Your family. You would do anything for a child in your care.
Every day is different. Every need is different. But one of the most impactful roles you can play in life is being a foster parent. See why at michigan.gov/hope for a home. A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
Hey Spartans, when it's game time, it's One North time. Just minutes from Michigan State University, One North Kitchen and Bar is your go-to spot for scratch cooking and world-class hospitality. When you're celebrating a win or catching up with friends, we've got the perfect dish to make every moment special. Join us for the MSU Coaches Shows and get closer to the action with the voices that bring Spartan spirit to life. Visit One North, where Spartan pride meets memorable meals.
And we're live from Lansing for the Tom Izzo Show, presented by Auto Owners Insurance. And Spartans fans, if you live, work, or go to school in the state of Michigan, you can join MSU FCU's Federal Credit Union. Save money and carry the only colors you want in your wallet with MSU FCU. Open your account today at msufcu.org. MSU Federal Credit Union, the official credit union of Spartan Athletics. Well, we've talked about a whole litany of things here, and what I really haven't asked you much about is the new Big Ten and this travel. Have you had to do anything different to get ready for this?
You know, everybody asked me how you're going to handle it. I said, it's hard to handle something that you've never done before. And, you know, I mean, we've traveled out there. We played at UCLA, but not in this kind of format where you play on Saturday afternoon, then you don't play again until Tuesday, and then you come back on the red eye and get in at 6 a.m, and then you got to prepare for another game. It's the coming back that they say is the hardest, you know. And then we got Oregon, a really good team, on Saturday at noon. So I don't know how I'm going to handle it. I've talked to a couple NBA teams, and they're the ones that said coming back east is worse than going out west. And so maybe the beginning will be okay, but the end won't be. I don't know. But it's the same for everybody, you know. Everybody's had to go through this. So I'm not going to complain about it. I'm just going to lace them up, do our job, and see where we go.
Well, when we come back, we have Oregon on that Tuesday. That's the player reunion game, right?
On Saturday.
On Saturday, I mean. That should be huge, shouldn't it?
Yeah, it'll be a big game. I mean, they're some of the coaches I've talked to think they're the most talented team in the league. And, you know, that's the thing. We don't know as much out of those teams because we don't see them, excuse me, on a regular basis. But they are good. They're well coached. I've known him forever, and you know, it'll be another good game at Breslin, hopefully.
We went to play at UCLA once, and it was John Wooden Court Dedication Day, and John Wooden was in the stands. And to this side, to our left behind the basket was, like Tom had mentioned, like every great player Coach Wooden ever had. And Gus was still with us, and we sat down, and I said, Gus, there is no way in hell we're going to win this game. And we were doing great, and then all of a sudden the whistles came out. They shot about 40 free throws, and they just got us.
You know, but at the beginning of that game, first of all, you know, we did the game because of Magic. He wanted us to come out there and play. And so then that summer after we signed it, they made it the night they were going to name the court after John and Nellie Wooden. And I said, oh, great. And then we're in the locker room before, and Urban is bringing all these guys through from UCLA, and just bringing them through. He thought he was being nice, but it was the greatest of the greatest. And I think my guys were so screwed up by the time we hit the court. I'm surprised we were in the game, but it was an interesting game, and we did get beat by a few. And so I owe him one, hopefully.
That'd be good. Hey, Franklin, you want to join us for the Michigan Sports Brief program every weekday on the Spartan Media Network stations across our great state, presented by Frankenmuth Insurance. Start a frank conversation about your insurance with one of our local independent agents by visiting fmins.com. And by the way, get in the game and score big at Turtle Creek Casino and Hotel. Enter to win overnight stay packages, men's basketball tickets, and more. Enter at MSU Athletics Facebook or X, or go directly to turtlecreekcasino.com, followed by /MSU-playcation. We'll be back with more of the Auto Owners Insurance Tom Izzo Show after this on the Spartan Media Network.
So, got one for you, boss.
Oh, yeah?
What's black, white, and dented all over?
I give up.
The company truck. I know, but thanks to our agent, we've already submitted an insurance claim and can track the status right from the app. Auto Owners pays what they owe without any hassle.
Lucky for you, that's simple human sense.
Ask your independent agent if Auto Owners makes sense for you.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End of friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Is joint pain slowing you down? Imagine waking up and moving through your day pain-free. The orthopedic and sports medicine specialists at McLaren are experts in the latest surgical and non-surgical advances to relieve joint pain and restore movement so you can rediscover the activities you love. We'll help you get back to what moves you. McLaren, the official orthopedic and sports medicine partner of Michigan State Athletics.
Hey, got one more, Labatt?
Yeah, here you go.
Yo, got one more?
Sure. Who are you?
Have any more?
I'll take one.
Got another Labatt?
Got one more?
How did you all get in my house?
Dude, door was open. Heard you had some Labatt.
Yeah, in the fridge.
Crack some Labatt, make some friends, and see where it takes you.
Always enjoy responsibly. Beer, Labatt USA, Buffalo, New York. All rights reserved. Labatt registered U.S. trademark of Labatt Brewing Company Limited.
Hang all the mistletoe. I'm gonna get to know you better.
And welcome back for more of the Tom Izzo Show, presented by Auto Owners Insurance. Getting ready to pack our bags. Tomorrow, we leave for Los Angeles for a couple games. We play USC, and then we play UCLA. A reminder, we'll be on the air Saturday all across the great state of Michigan when we take on the Trojans. You can join our coverage live at 3:30 in the afternoon. And a reminder that our next Tom Izzo Show will be Thursday. It'll be Thursday, February the 6th. Well, here we go. We talked a lot about a whole bunch of things, Tom, but at the end of the day, I remember you saying when this season started, the Big Ten was a mystery. So many portal kids. Who's going to do this or that? Well, we're kind of at the halfway point of the season. Has it become a little more defined for you?
I don't know. Has it become more defined for you or for all of you? It seems like there were a couple teams that started to go down. USC and UCLA were two of them, and now they're both on an upswing. Minnesota was almost pronounced dead, and now they won 3 out of 4, and they've done really well. I think you're going to see a lot of swings, and some of it's got to do with the trips. Some of it's got to do with just it's long. I mean, when we went from 16 to 18 games in the Big Ten, it was 2 more games, and 2 more conference games is like 4 more games. Because there's so much more put into the conference games. You know, they prepare for you, you prepare for them. You got to come up with new stuff. And then when they went from 18 to 20, that's another 2 games. That seems like 4. So it seems like you're 8 more games than it used to be. I mean, the season seems long, and it is. And so there's going to be a lot of ebbs and flows in the season. And that's why I say hang on, because, you know, everybody's going to hit them. Injuries have played a part in some teams already, and usually as the year goes on, they could play a part. I'm not preparing anybody. You know, everybody acts like I'm trying to downplay what we've done. I'm not. I'm just, I've been in this thing a long time, and I've seen a lot of things happen, you know, and so we're just trying to take it one game at a time still, and keep our players focused on the task at hand, because the more you win, the more distractions there are. And the more distractions there are, that's what we have to watch out for.
Well, the one thing, Tom, I do want to ask you about, a lot of times as we get into the season, everybody talks about the top 4 spots in the Big Ten tournament and double bye, but we're spending more time talking about 3 guys that might not make the tournament. And my question is, when you have your coaches meetings or wherever, is there a movement to maybe reverse this?
Yeah, we hate it. As coaches, we hate it. I mean, hopefully it doesn't happen to me, but I feel for. I don't like that at all. I really don't. I think for a lot of reasons. Number one, that's how people get fired. But more importantly than getting fired, really, is it's the experience that the student athletes have. That is a big deal, you know, and even our alums. The advantage of the Big Ten tournament is you know, like the NCAA tournament for us, if you want to go, you find out on Sunday, you're going on Thursday. Tickets for a plane are astronomical. It's hard to do. Whereas the Big Ten tournament's something you can normally plan. The sorority sisters, the fraternity brothers, the this and that, they all plan it for a whole year. And now 3 teams won't be able to plan it, or maybe 6 teams, because who knows what'll happen. So I'm not for it, but I am for all of you, and I appreciate the support you've given us and what you've done. We've got our work cut out for us, and when we get home, it gets even worse. So one way or another, we'll either need you to help us maintain the level we've at, or help pick us up if something goes wrong. No matter what we do, we need you.
Listening to the Auto Owners Insurance presentation of the Tom Izzo Show, sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense. The Tom Izzo Show is also brought to you by McLaren, official orthopedics and sports medicine partner of Michigan State Athletics. One North Kitchen and Bar, making good times great. SeatGeek, the official ticket marketplace of MSU Athletics. Labatt, crack some Labatt and see where it takes you. Meyer, the official grocer of Michigan State Athletics. Coors Light, mountain cold refreshment. Choose chill. And by Dean Trailways, the official ground transportation provider of Spartan Athletics. Make Dean Trailways your favorite ride. The Tom Izzo Show is a presentation of Playfly Sports in partnership with Michigan State Athletics. All rights reserved, and is produced by the Spartan Media Network.